because it's entirely real. Here's the interview. Mr. Karaganov, thank you very much.
Oh, there's the interview. Oh my God, he actually did the interview with the Russian politician. You were right. Okay, let's go. Putting advisor. Oh my God. Okay, let's go. This is going to be our top tier warm-up thing. All right, thank you, Vladimir. I'm so excited for this. Oh boy. Who would have... I am prepared.
For joining us. How do you believe this war will end?
This war could...
Top Putin advisor. This war will end with the ultimate victory of the Russian Federation, and Europe was going to get nuked.
And should be ended not only when Russia achieves total defeat of Europe, hopefully without eliminating Europe.
Oh, so it's not just about defeating Ukraine anymore. No, it's about the total defeat of Europe, hopefully without eliminating it. Okay, that's not unhinged at all. Okay. Yeah, Putin really wants peace, as Donald Trump has said, okay? Trump was right. Putin really wants peace. It's just that the peace will be achieved once Europe is completely defeated, but hopefully not eliminated. What the fuck is this? What is this Delulu talk? What is happening? Come on.
We are fighting not Ukraine. Not Zelensky.
This is not unhinged at all.
We are fighting again Europe, which has been...
Hello, Lobtobe on Twitch chat. I'm watching all the chats today, okay? I'm paying attention. I am locked in. Today, I'm locked in. I'm more locked in than ever. Okay, I am very focused as a streamer tonight to give you the best content. Hold on, I am off camera. There you go. I am locked in. If the audience will not lock in, I will lock in your stead. And yeah, he just said it. We're not really fighting against Ukraine. We're not fighting against Zelensky. No, we're fighting against the entirety of Europe, and we have to eliminate it. We have to eliminate, well, not eliminate, completely defeat Europe. Brilliant interview. And Tucker Carlson is just looking at him with this like dumbfounded look, like it is this pained look, this weird. I don't know how to describe how Tucker Carlson looks like when he acts like this. It's just as if he was really. He really wants to poop, but he cannot. He's trapped here in this weird interview. I bet he's gonna nod and he's gonna say no.
Source of all ills and all sources of evil in the history of humanity.
Wait, what? Europe is the source of all evil in the history of humanity, and so Russia needs to fight Europe and not Ukraine and Zelensky? Hold on, I need to hear this again.
Of two world source of all Europe, which has been there again. Europe, which has been there source of all ills and all sources of evil in the history of humanity, of two world wars.
Russia was an active participant of World War I and II, for that matter. The USSR. What do you mean? The USSR was one of the countries that started World War II together with Nazi Germany. And you have the guts to tell me that Europe is the source of all evil? The USSR invaded Poland 17 days after Nazi Germany.
The EU has been several times invading us. Last time it was openly in the for 41, 45 when
You invaded Poland 17 days after Hitler. You have no what?
90%, 95% of European countries came here under the
Tucker Carlson's reaction. Tucker Carlson recently said on his show that the United States declared war against Nazi Germany the same day that Nazi Germany invaded Poland. So no wonder that he nods like an idiot. He knows nothing about history. He also said that the USSR invaded Poland the same day that Nazi Germany invaded Poland. So Tucker Carlson's knowledge of history is either 0 or minus level. Okay? Like when he said that the United States declared war on Nazi Germany the very same day that the invasion of Poland happened. Brilliant. Thank you, Tucker Carlson. You're so dependable as a journalist.
Under the banners of Hitler. Now, unbelievably, after all their defeats, they haven't learned the lesson. They're still pushing for a big war.
Yeah, Europe is pushing for a big war by, I don't know, forcing Russia to invade Ukraine somehow. By forcing Russia to invade Georgia, Moldova, Chechnya, and now Ukraine. Yeah, it was all Europe. It was Europe. It was the butler all along.
I think
the butler did it.
The reason is obviously that it's total failure of what the European
morals.
But so when we talk about the end of this war, it's not about doing away with the war in Ukraine, with the source of this war, and that is the evil Europe, which
the evil of it used to be NATO. It used to be Satanism in Ukraine. It used to be Ukraine persecuting Russian speakers in Ukraine. It used to be trans people. Yes, at some point Putin said that it's because of trans people and that J.K. Rowling is being persecuted. It used to be all those things. But you know what? Now it's just the war is happening because of the evils of Europe. That's the reason. Russia was forced to invade Ukraine because Europe is fundamentally evil. I have no idea how those things are connected, how that's supposed to make any sort of sense, but here we are. That's the new West in the long, long list of reasons why Russia absolutely had to invade in 2022. You can add it now.
By the way, sucked United States several times into war. And which have been the source of the worst things in the history of humanity, including, of course, world wars, including racism, colonialism, and many other bad things, including now they have been the main source of the post-human values, which they have been exporting. I mean, they partly...
Post-human? What do you mean post-human?
Polluted the United States too. Now we are fighting that. They try to pollute them. That with them. I'm not speaking about all Europe. I mean, there are many.
Is he talking about trans people? Post-human? What is he talking about? Polluted with what? I don't know what he's talking about here.
Decent people and even good countries there. But the question is that Europe is returning back to where it used to be during the last.
Where did it used to be? Where is Europe returning? What is happening?
500 years, and that is the source of all evil in the history of humanity.
So what does it look like to defeat Europe? The war can't end until Russia defeats Europe.
Yeah, the good question, Dr. Carlson. At last, you're asking like at least a question that I can agree with. What does it look like to defeat Europe? Okay.
You said. What does that mean?
For the time being, we are thinking about a piecemeal deal about.
For the time being. Oh my God. For the time being. Wait, hold on. A peace deal is not a defeat. Okay, if you enter a peace deal with the other person, you're not really defeating them. You're just making peace with them.
Narcissus, which has been offered by President Trump in good faith, or again, until the will of European elites is not to continue confrontation for the sake of saving themselves from
What do you mean saving themselves? Like this ramble does not make any sense. But it has been this has been the new line from Russia for some time now, ever since the peace talks have been happening. Now the new line is Europe is standing in the way of peace. Europe is a bunch of fearmongers because Europe, unlike the United States, is now supporting Ukraine. The United States have all but abandoned Ukraine, and now Europe is basically the only thing that is in any meaningful way supporting Ukraine against Russia. So, of course, Russia will have to frame Europe as the ultimate evil and something that is just wants war, no matter what. And that it's about the evils of the elites that just want to want confrontation, even though, again, it was Russia that started all this, and it is Russia that could very easily end it by, withdrawing from Ukraine. But who cares? Who cares about that, right?
From the old covering up for the old mistakes they have done. That war will not stop. So I'm relatively skeptical as to the
translation. Until Europe abandons Ukraine and we can just take it, and until Ukraine is left without allies, and so that we can just take it over, this war will not stop. Helping Ukraine is evil, I guess.
Short time possibilities of a piecemeal deal. However, of course, if we achieve something along the road and people will stop to be killed, well, the opportunity should be used. But I'm pretty sure that their problem is much deeper. And it is not Ukraine, it is not Zelensky and whomever.
This sounds like projection to me. Their problem is not Ukraine. Their problem is not Zelensky. It sounds like he's talking about Russia, to be quite honest.
Europe is again returning to its worst, and that is the source of all evil in the history of humanity.
Yes, of course. Wanting Ukraine not to be in Russia's sphere of influence is evil, the ultimate evil.
Why do you think, I think from an American perspective, it's very obvious that European leaders are focused on Russia in the big countries, Germany, France, Great Britain. The leadership of all three countries is focused on Russia as the threat. Why do you think that is?
No, it is very simple. I'm a founder of Institute of Europe, and I used to be a Europhile 40 years ago. And then I learned them better.
Okay.
Highly skeptical. They are complete failures on all counts. Moral, political, economic, etc. Europe is going down.
As opposed to Russia that is going up on all metrics, economical, social, everything's going up in Russia. Russia absolutely does not have a demographic crisis. Russia absolutely does not have a workforce problem. Russia absolutely is not forced to import workforce to do construction or anything else. Russia is absolutely not cutting any sort of social spending in order to prompt up its already huge military budget, of course. And Russia absolutely is not a warmongering country that just invades its neighbors, of course.
They are unable now to exploit.
Europe's budget is far bigger than Russia's, by the way. A couple of times bigger than Russia's, just so you know. Europe's economy dwarfs Russia's economy. So what are we even talking about here?
The world and to suck the rent from the world which they have been getting due to their military preponderance over the last 500 years. And that was stopped in the 60s and 70s.
Why is he talking about the last 500 years? Russia has been an imperialistic power within the last 500 years, you know. It took part in a little bit of an event called the partitions of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. Russia was a big instigator of that.
Got into a deep crisis already. But at that time, I mean, for all kinds of reasons, Soviet Union collapsed. And they believed that their golden age would continue. But now they understand that this golden age is finished. And they are desperate. They understand that they could not live on others' money. Also, they start to understand that they could not live.
Okay, first of all, I can barely understand what he's saying. Second of all, I have no idea what he means when he says that Europe is desperate. I have no idea what sort of golden age he is referring to. I am not familiar with any golden age happening within Europe. Okay, whatever golden age he is talking about, I am not familiar with it. It's not a thing.
Of U.S. protection, because U.S. is tired of them and they don't need it anymore.
And by U.S. he means Trump, because Russia has been really hoping that Trump would win the election. Russia was hoping, praying that the world would turn into this. Russia was praying and praying and praying that things would turn out like they did right now. And Putin's and Russia's wet dreams are they're happening before our very own eyes. Estelle says Trump is a Russian op. It feels like it. It definitely feels like it. Trump is just making all of Russia's dreams come true. He's dividing Europe. He is destroying NATO. All of the most coveted dreams that Russia had before Trump won the election, they're just happening right now.
There's a total desperation of this a layer of globalists, quote-unquote liberal European elites. It's also there, by the way, process of anti-meritocracy. I mean, never in history of Europe have we had such a low level of intellectual capacities.
I love how this guy is talking about low level of intellectual capacity when he is just spewing total nonsense, total conspiracy. He's talking about international relations. He's talking about international politics in terms of the source of ultimate evil. He speaks of Europe pushing Russia to war. He speaks of the warmongering Europe. And yet he speaks of low intellectual capacity. I don't even know what to say. He speaks in such cliche simplifications and conspiracy, total nonsense that only idiots would buy, and yet he speaks of other people not being intellectually. Like maybe that's why he's speaking about low intellectual capacity, because he knows that many people will just buy his bullshit. Tucker Carlson being the first one in line to smell the Russian bread with ecstasy.
In the leadership of most European countries, not of all, but of most.
So Europe is basically out of gas. It's out of energy. It's dying. And so
Europe has a lot bigger economy than Russia. If Europe is dying, then what is Russia doing? If Europe is dying, then Russia is just a rotting corpse at this point, isn't it? Like, what are we talking about? What do you mean Europe's dying?
So you're arguing that their leadership sees a defeat of Russia as the only way back.
No, that's bullshit. That's so stupid. Like, Russia started the war, not Europe. Why would Russia's defeat affect Europe in any way in that sense? This is just stupid.
Continue.
The only way out of what? How would Russia's defeat lead to some way out of some imagined fall? That makes no sense.
They at first they thought of a possibility of a defeat of Russia, which was, I mean, kind of a fantastic illusion. And, but still, some people, because of the
Russia has lost many wars. I love that he's trying to push this myth of unbeatable Russia, even though Russia has been historically defeated many, many, many times.
their intellectual quote-unquote incapacity, or they are still talking about that. But what is defeat of Russia? Just if Russia comes ever close to a defeat.
Russia's defeat, quote unquote, is Russia withdrawing from Ukraine. That is what Russia defeat means.
That would mean that Russia now would use nuclear weapons, and the Europe will be finished physically. So, I mean, it's...
Europe also has nuclear weapons. This is just empty saber rattling. Once again, Russia loves to do this. Russia is not the only country in the world in possession of nuclear weapons. France has them, England has them. It's just, what is this?
Simply,
What if Russia is forced to withdraw from Ukraine, it'll use nuclear weapons? That's nonsense.
possible even to think about it. But they have been talking because they need a war to rationalize their stay in power.
Yeah, they need a war. Europe needs a war, and that's why Russia invaded Ukraine, because Europe needs a war. Of course, that makes perfect sense. Europe needs a war to have a justification for their elites to stay in power, and this is why Russia invaded. Perfect. Mr. Top Putin advisor.
To rationalize their existence. And it is not about even defeat of Russia now.
What is it
It is
about?
simply keeping on with the failing European Union, with the failing economy.
Okay, how is the European Union failing? Like, this is such a talking... Trump has started this. Trump has started this talking point of the European Union failing, of it needing to actually break apart, that is best to deal with the individual nation states because that would make Europe far weaker and that would make Europe far easier to control. And now Russia has picked up this line of thinking and is talking about Europe's fall, European Union failing, and Europe's bad economy, even though, again, Europe's economy dwarfs Russia's economy.
now with fading European positions in the world. Everybody in the world now laughs at Europe, which used to be, by the way, one of the core.
Europe's fading power in the world. What about Russia then? Again, if the European Union is dying, then Russia's a rotting corpse.
The world power, and now it's a joke. Of course, I'm not speaking of all Europe. We know that there are decent Europeans, there are smart Europeans.
Okay, name them. Name the smart European. Let me guess. Hungary, Slovakia, and now the Czech Republic, right? Those are the smart Europeans, right?
Though in my class, political
Why
class,
don't you name those smart Europeans? Go on then.
of European thinkers,
He just stares at him, looking like an idiot. This is not an interview. This is a monologue. This is a monologue by this guy, and this other guy just stares at him with a blank stare, mind empty.
and you're on.
Why are you looking at him like this?
Policy and defense, etc., etc. There's only one or two men or persons left. I wouldn't name them because that would jeopardize them.
Fuck off. Fico and Orban. There you go. I've named them. It would jeopardize them. I will not name those smart Europeans. It would jeopardize them. Fuck off. Okay. Oh my God. This is so pathetic. I will not name those brave Europeans that are the good ones, but...
Nice of the audience, but nobody else. I do not have any interlocutor.
Oh my
Almost
God.
any interlocutor in Europe.
Oh my God.
When you say everyone knows that the Russian government, if pressed, would use nuclear weapons against Europe.
Bullshit.
You mean that, is my question. And do you think that the Europeans understand that?
That has been the fear-mongering tactic that has been used since the beginning of the war, okay? That's why Europe's aid to Ukraine has been so half-assed, because Russia has been saber-rattling with nuclear weapons, and the entirety of the West, United States included, have been giving Russia leeway in the nuclear escalation ladder. That is the reality of the situation. Russia has been scaring everybody with nuclear weapons, and everybody has been trembling in their boots, afraid to actually substantially support Ukraine. Which should not be a thing. Europe has nuclear weapons as well. The United States has nuclear weapons as well. The escalation ladder should have been kept at a level. The West should have been saying very firmly, you do not scare us. If you dare to do a first strike, we will do a secondary strike and we will wipe each other off the face of the earth. You do not scare us with nuclear weapons and we will support Ukraine. That should have been the move, not ever and not never ending afraid of escalation by Europe. Europe always asking itself, wait, if we give Ukraine this type of weapon, is that escalation? If we support it with missiles, if we support it with more tanks, if we allow them to do this, that, or the other, is that not too much of an escalation? And in the meantime, Russia introduces Iranian drones into the conflict, gets help from China, gets artillery from North Korea and troops from North Korea, and somehow that never is considered a huge escalation from Russia. Russia can endlessly escalate, and Europe is always afraid to escalate in any sort of way. That has been the history of this conflict so far. That has been the never-ending disappointment surrounding this war. And now Russia once again is resorting to this pathetic rhetoric about using nuclear weapons, should it even start to lose.
Because they have been, first of all, intellectually degrading after their 1968.
I have no idea what that means. Who has been intellectually degrading? What's been happening? Who? Like, I hated this vague language, but of course, that is the language of propaganda. It has to be vague. It has to be all-encompassing. It has to be in very black and white terms. Good versus evil, intellectual decline, moral decline, civilizational collapse, and Russia is the only party that is still strong. It produces strong warriors, men, and fights the LGBT, okay, and fights degeneracy. The West has fallen. Maybe the Prague Spring, maybe the expulsion of Jewish people from Poland in 68. Who knows? A lot of things have been happening in 68.
So-called student revolution, which killed most of European education. And because of anti-meritocracy of modern European democratic system, do not understand or were unable to understand what is happening fully. And also they are entertaining what I call strategic parasitism. I don't know how to call it.
What the fuck is he talking? What is the word that he's trying to say?
They believe that will never come to their territory. They forgot about the war, and that is terrible because they have been the source of most wars in the history of humanity. But now they are not afraid. So now one of the tasks of Russia,
Maybe parasite. Maybe, Estelle, maybe.
in addition to all others, is to bring them to senses. Hopefully without using nuclear weapons, only with the threat.
Again, saber rattling about nuclear weapons. Give us Ukraine or we will use nukes. Again, this has been a theme for 3 years now.
Of their use, and I'm criticizing my government of being too prudent and too patient with them. But
Oh my God.
If they continue to support this war,
Come on, man.
sacrificing new millions of Ukrainians and others, the Russian legendary perseverance will.
Russia's legendary perseverance, of course. Russia's the legendary country. Russia's the only beacon of morality. Think about that. Russia will save the West with its based, anti-woke, I don't know what.
Thin, will go thin. And we'll have.
Oh, I know. As funny as that might sound, okay, as sad as it might sound, what this guy is basically saying is that Europe got woke and then it got broke. And ironically, he is saying Europe has gone woke and now is going broke, but Russia is not woke and therefore it's not broke and it's going great and it's going to defeat Europe, hopefully without eradicating it with nukes. Like, come on, dude.
To punish them.
Also,
Yes.
Europe is evil. It needs to be punished.
Severely, hopefully in a limited sense.
I cannot believe that this guy is saying this with a straight face, seriously. And he's talking about the intellectual decline of Europe while saying Europe is evil. Okay, first of all, Europe is evil. Second of all, it needs to be punished, severely punished, but hopefully in a limited capacity. This just sounds like a rambling of a lunatic. You need to be punished, Europe.
It's interesting that you say their leaders no longer fear nuclear weapons.
Europe is still scared shitless of nuclear weapons, of escalation.
You would think everyone would fear nuclear weapons given their destructive capacity.
That is why the support for Ukraine has been so half-assed. That is why, if you're wondering.
Why would any person not fear the threat of a nuclear attack?
Because, well, let's put this: we believe that they are like us, but they're not like us. They have had a total degradation of thinking class and of the ruling class. I mean, when Chancellor, quote unquote, of Germany is talking about, I mean, recreating a Bundeswehr to be the strongest army in Europe, what does that mean?
Yes. Russia is warning us of Germany becoming a militaristic state again and causing World War III. The thinking class, yes. Okay, the thinking class and the unthinkable class.
Means that he dooms his country for elimination. I have
What the fuck does that mean? Germany wants to rebuild its military, so it dooms its country for elimination. It's just, he's just saying whatever comes to mind. He's just saying whatever propaganda bullshit comes to his mind. That makes no logical sense. It does not follow. Oh, Germany has an army now. I guess they're just targeting themselves for elimination. What the fuck does that mean?
been talking with Europeans through most of my adult life. I stopped doing that in 1913 when there was a meeting of European leaders in which I participated, and I said that if you continue into this your system, there will be a big war and millions of
When did he start?
Into this your system.
Sorry, when did he stop talking to Europeans? In 1915?
Of European leaders in which I participated, and I said that if you continue.
Hold on, when?
Of life. I stopped doing that in 1913.
1913? No, that cannot be right. In 1913, he stopped talking. How old is this dude? If he stopped talking to Europeans in 1913, did he actually say 1913 just now?
When so my adult life, I stopped doing that in 1913. When
Holy shit, how old is this guy?
I stopped doing that.
Don't the Russians use a different calendar? I have to look it up now. Do Russians use a different calendar? Today, the Russian Federation uses the Georgian calendar, the same calendar used by most nations worldwide. But before 1918, the Russian Empire used the Julian calendar for several centuries. And the Russian Orthodox Church still uses the Julian calendar today. Like, no, it's the same year, okay? It's like he stopped talking to Europeans in 1913. He's an ancient guy. How, like, Jesus Christ. We're talking to a living fossil. It's very incredible. Very interesting.
Most of my adult life. I stopped doing that in 1913.
So in 1913, this guy is... I'm going to use a calculator for this. I'm going to use a calculator. Okay. 2026 minus 1913. 113 years old, this guy is, I guess.
When there was a meeting of European
That explains a lot, actually. That would explain a lot.
leaders in which I participated, and I said that if you continue into this your system, there will be a big war, and millions of Ukrainians will die.
What system? What the fuck? If Europe continues into what system? And why does Ukraine in particular have to pay for that system? That makes no sense. If Europe continues into some vague, undefined system, then millions of Ukrainians will die. That just makes no sense.
And nobody dared to look into my eyes. There were 70 or 80 people. Most of them...
In 1913?
No. They have degraded to the level that they are dangerous idiots or more.
What the fuck does any of that mean? They have degraded. They have degraded regarding what? What's the system that you're referring to? What does that have to do with Ukraine?
Idiots.
Yes.
Most, not all of them.
Yes. Yes. Most, not all of them. Like Hungary and Slovakia. Those are the good ones. Those are the good guys in this story.
But most of them.
Mm-hmm.
You are quoted in one place.
What do I even ask now? I don't know anything. Oh shit! I'm out of my depth.
Saying they no longer fear God, therefore they no longer fear war.
Oh, let's pivot to God. Yes. If you're out of your depth and don't know what questions to actually ask about politics or about, the logical questions that you would ask if you'd hear something like this, like, okay, what is the system that you're referring to? What was the system that Europe was so, I don't know, stubborn about, that you warned them about, that they did not want to abandon? What does that have to do with Ukraine, and why do millions of Ukrainians have to die in the name of that system that you refer to? No. The next question about hearing all that is, so you're saying that Europeans do not believe in God, and therefore that's bad, right? The interviewer is on the same level as the interviewee, I guess. You said Czechia. Yes, I said Czechia too, the Czech Republic, because the new Czech government is also pretty pro-Russian, yeah. There's been a change in the Czech government and they're on the side of Russia now. They've been... First thing that the new prime minister of the Czech Republic did was blocking the initiative to give a loan to Ukraine from the frozen Russian assets.
How are those two related?
Absolutely. I mean, they lost, well, not all, again. There are normal people. Europe. Europe has lost its core, moral, political, spiritual core.
Again, what the fuck does that mean? They've lost their moral, spiritual core. What is this core? What is this core supposed to be? What is the moral core? The moral core is persecuting people for being LGBT, destroying the freedom of the press, destroying actually any civic liberties of people. Is that the moral core that you're speaking about?
Now as you know, most of them have lost the fear, the trust in God. It doesn't mean
Which god?
they lost losing most of their traits of the human.
What? I have no idea what he just said. I genuinely have no clue what he just said. Trace of the human?
Normal losing.
Normal Lucy? Is he Lucy as he said Lucy as in Luigi as in humans? Normal humans?
Most of their traits of the human. Europe is under this leadership is becoming anti-European in terms of historical European and even anti-human.
But that makes no sense. You said historically Europe has been the source of the greatest evil. Okay? And now you're saying that Europe is becoming anti-European in the historical sense. Is becoming anti what Europe used to be historically, which means, by your own logic, that it means that Europe is becoming anti-evil, because historically, Europe has been the source of the greatest evil. So if it's becoming anti that, then it's becoming anti-evil. You should be happy, but you're not. You cannot be pleased. Can you? It's just...
They have brought Nazism, which was anti-human.
Nazism. Okay, everybody that opposes Russia is a Nazi, of course. They've brought their Nazism from the woodwork. Their Nazism is apparent,
etc. Now they have brought to us. You have been infected to a less extent. Something absolutely anti-human.
You have been infected with the Nazism.
Loss of respect towards family, towards love between man and woman, towards respect for seniors.
LGBT, of course. Reza says, why does Tucker always look constipated? I don't know. It's just that's a good description of what he looks like, actually. Constipated, yeah. Because he doesn't know what to say, because he doesn't know anything, actually. He has no knowledge about anything. As I've said before, he recently said that the United States declared war on Nazi Germany the very same day that it invaded Poland. That's one. He also said that the Soviet Union invaded Poland the very same day that Nazi Germany invaded Poland. He doesn't know anything. He's out of his depth. That's why he always looks constipated. Because when this guy is rambling, all that's on Tucker Carlson's mind is, okay, what do I ask now? What do I say now? What do I say now? How do I actually continue this? And he's wrecking his brain, and that's why he looks constipated. Vladimir says, anti-evil is actually bad because anti is negative and evil is negative, and negative times negative is positive. So it becomes positive evil, therefore more evil. Oh, it's true. You're right. I've actually not considered this. That is true.
Towards patriotism, etc. What is then Europe? And of course,
also, I will remind you that this guy's logic is basically, so Europe is falling morally, spiritually, it's in decline, and therefore Europe needs a war. Europe needs to war to get out of its moral decline. And therefore Russia invaded Ukraine. Tell me how that makes any sort of sense. Please explain to me how that is supposed to make any sort of sense.
Trust in God. What is left? I mean, it is...
Oh, sorry. I always confuse you with Vladimir for some reason. Like, I don't know. It's like, I have no idea how we get from the leap from Europe is falling, it needs a war, and therefore Russia invaded. I have no idea how we got to that point.
And it is
God, come on.
a moral hold. However, of course, I'm not speaking about all Europeans. There are normal people.
Yeah, they're normal people like Orban, Viktor, and Fico. They are the normal people, okay? They're the good Europeans. They're good. They are the good ones, okay? Come on. Don't throw us all under the bus. But he won't. That was the funniest part of this interview. Okay? The funniest part of this interview was when he said, they're the good Europeans, but I will not name them because that would jeopardize them, okay? If I name the good Europeans, that would put them in jeopardy, okay? The good Europeans would be jeopardized if I named them.
People. However, of course, I'm not unable to talk to them. I'm not able to talk to them because they are midget. They are forbidden to talk to us.
There you go. They're a midget. What the fuck did he just say? I'm sorry. What?
And if they are a midget,
They're a midget.
talk to them. I'm not able to talk to them.
I'm not able to talk to the good Europeans because they are a midget and they are... What?
Of course, I'm not unable to talk to them. I'm not able to talk to them because they are a midget. They are forbidden to talk to us. And if they
Okay, they're a midget and they are forbidden from talking. Okay. We all know who you're talking about, okay? We all know you're talking about Hungary, Slovakia, and the Czech Republic as of now.
They are then called and summoned to the police or security services. So I have still probably a lot of friends in Europe, but I do not have any contacts with them because they are banned, because they're elites from talking to us, because the elites are preparing them for a war, at least morally. Though the same elites could not comprehend that if war, a real big war, is unleashed in Europe, and a war sooner or later, this war in Ukraine, which we are waging with Europeans.
Wait, hold on. There's a war in Ukraine that is being waged against Europeans? Hold on, what? This is Putin's top advisor, mind you. Did he just call it a war? Did he just not refer to it as the special military operation? Did I just hear that correctly? Hold on, I wanna rewind. This is a historical moment. Putin's top advisor just called it a war. He did not continue the whole special military operation bullshit.
Escalate in Ukraine, which we have. In Europe, and a war sooner or later, this war in Ukraine, which we are waging.
He just said that the Russia is waging war in Ukraine. That's progress. It's not a special military operation anymore.
With Europeans, escalates. There will be no Europe. Thanks God, we have changed our nuclear.
Also, another nonsensical sentence. This war in Ukraine that we are waging against Europe will become a war against Europe. Okay, thanks. You just said a bunch of nonsense.
Recently, our president said he was very cautious and he's a very cautious and very polite man, but he said something very important. He said that if Europe continues and if Europe gets into real direct conflict with Europe, there will be nobody in Europe to talk. But I hope and I beg and I pray the way I pray that he or us wouldn't have to make this decision. But as I've said before, Europe is the source of the most evils and it returns to its worst times.
What the fuck? Europe is the source of the most evils, and Europe is returning to the source times. What the fuck does that mean? Europe is returning to the source times. What is this fantasy bullshit narrative? Europe is returning to the source times. I think I'm gonna put it on the thumbnail for this one. I'm gonna put it on the thumbnail for this interview reaction. The source times.
Twice in the past, roughly the past year, the Ukrainians have tried to, at least twice, tried to kill your president, President Putin. What that's my read of it.
That's your read of it. Good save. Okay, good save, Tucker Carlson. That's your read of it.
Why do you think they did that?
What the fuck? I told you that is exactly this question basically encapsulates why he looks constipated all the time, okay? Because he does not know what to ask, because he has no knowledge, he has no idea what he's talking about, he's out of his depth, so he is intensely thinking, what do I ask now? What should be my next question? And then it's something like, so they tried to kill Putin a couple of times. That's my read on it. Why? It's like, okay, that's, oh God. Why?
What's the thinking there?
What kind of a question is that? He might as well ask, you know what? I'm surprised. I'm actually proud of Tucker Carlson in this interview. I am very proud of Tucker Carlson that he did not ask the question of, I'll have to make his face for this because, you know, why do you think Europe is so evil? Why do you think that Europe is so, what is the source of Europe's evil? What do you think it is? You know, I'm very proud that he has not asked that question. As I says, Tucker doesn't understand anything outside the US. He's out of his depth indeed. I honestly don't think that Reza, I don't think Tucker understands anything in the US, okay? I don't think he understands much within the US either, okay? I'm gonna be a bit harsher than you in my judgment of Tucker Carlson's expertise. I also think he is out of his depth domestically, to be quite honest with you.
It's very simple. I mean, they're belligerent. I mean, some people believe that you could solve the problem of Russia by killing our president. Our president is I have one problem with our president is that he's too cautious. They do not too cautious, and he shows too much perseverance. I am criticizing him indirectly, or sometimes even directly, as in our conversation with you.
Bullshit! You're not allowed to. Like, what the fuck is this? Yes, I criticize my president, Vladimir Putin, all the time. Look at me criticize my Russian president. For example, I criticize him for being so cautious and persevere, okay? I criticize him for his big perseverance and for his huge penis, okay? Like, what is this? I criticize him all the time. Oh, God.
But
Directly and indirectly.
they simply want. Of course, they could not kill. It's simply noble hatred.
Noble hatred. There's so many buzzwords in this interview. Okay, so many buzzwords: noble hatred, just the source times, source of all evil, literally, the source of all evil in the world.
Of people who have lost their minds. Well, the question, of course, of
Putin derangement syndrome. Am I right? Am I right, fellas? It's just the entirety of Europe has been stricken with Putin derangement syndrome.
doing away with leaders of foreign countries is an American question, as you know. And, but they are pumping up hatred towards Russia like mad. Even I'm partly a historian. I must say that even Hitler's Germany, the level of anti-Russian propaganda, Russophobia, was maybe weaker, or at least
Even Hitler did not hate Russia as much as Europe does right now. There you go. You've heard it now. Even Hitler did not hate. That's going to be the title of this segment, okay? Even Hitler did not hate Russia as much as Europe does, okay? It's going to be something like that, okay? That's going to be the title. Okay, tone it down. Okay, tone it down, Chief. Okay? Europe is not worse than Hitler. Oh, God.
equal.
Even Hitler's Germany did not hate us quite as much as Macron does. Macron, that little monster that just dreams of killing all of us.
What is happening in Europe?
It's horrible. It's worse than Nazi Germany.
Happen if your president were to be assassinated by the Ukrainians or Europe or the United States? What would be the next?
Well, let's hope that would not happen. But then, of course, that would
then we'll just replace him with some other stooge.
mean that we will punish. Hopefully not the United States. But
what? What the fuck was that answer? Did you what? What would happen if Putin were to be assassinated? We will punish, hopefully not the United States. What? What? Hopefully not the United States.
will be taken away from the map of humanity. It should be pushed away from the geopolitical and geostrategic math, because it is a nuisance. I hope it would not be punished in the physical way, though I'm starting to say that these idiots do not understand anything but physical pain. And that's no later. We have...
You invaded a sovereign country. You did.
To go up the ladder and escalation.
Those idiots.
And if they do not stop this senseless war and hostility...
You started this senseless war. You could end it. You could end it by leaving Ukraine. What the fuck do you mean these idiots wants this senseless war?
In and around Ukraine, Now we would have to start to attack Europe with conventional weapons, and then next step will be waves of nuclear strikes. I hope we wouldn't reach that point because
Yeah, sure. Saber rattling, more empty saber rattling about nuclear warfare.
using nuclear weapons, any weapon, is a sin.
Russia pretending that it's the only country in the world that has a nuclear arsenal.
But using nuclear weapons is a double sin, and I don't want to be Russia to be
Wiped off the face of the world.
that big a sin. We have all our sins. But if needed, we have to eliminate the European threat to humanity.
What the fuck? Yes, it is Russia's holy mission to eliminate Europe's threat to humanity.
How far are we
Oh my
from
God.
Russia using nuclear weapons against Europe?
2 years.
Oh, he actually gave a date. 2 years. We're gonna use nuclear weapons in 2 years.
Now, if they do, well, 1 year. Well, first of all, I've been calling on my
What the fuck? Hey, so when is Russia gonna use nukes, do you think? This is This is Putin's top advisor, mind you. 2 years, 1 year, I don't know. 2 years, maybe 1 year. Who the hell knows when we're gonna use the nukes? Who the hell knows?
to escalate earlier. But President Putin is very religious and he's cautious. And we have been climbing up the ladder of escalation, changing our nuclear doctrine and lowering the nuclear threshold, building up our nuclear potential in Europe and else. But in the hope that we could stop them before crossing the threshold, as I've said.
Of course, nobody's gonna use nukes, but Russia will saber rattle about it. Russia will fearmonger about it, and the West will be scared shitless and will not support Ukraine with what it needs. That is the only thing that Russia needs to achieve, and it is achieving it splendidly. And then, of course, there's the fact that Trump won in the US and has abandoned Ukraine altogether, but that's neither here nor there.
I think that Putin believes that using nuclear weapons, and I believe, by the way,
It's evil. Evil.
is a sin.
Oh, it's a sin. So basically the same thing. It's evil.
It might be a necessary sin.
It's not that there's this thing called nuclear deterrence in international relations. No, it's not about that. It's about it being a sin.
To save humanity. That's why I have been calling for limited.
Yes, we invade our neighbors to save humanity. We commit genocide to save humanity. We erase cultures and languages in order to save humanity. It is all in the name of humanity.
Use of nuclear weapons against Europe, because otherwise the world would drift into a third world war, towards which Europeans are pushing all of us.
Yes, it is Europe that has started this war, and definitely not Russia, by starting a war.
I mean, they have already done that twice in history, sucking in the United States. A couple of times.
Also, no, Russia was at the beginning of World War I as well, okay? Russia was an active participant of World War I. Russia was one of the countries involved in the beginning of World War I. Don't give me that bullshit, okay?
Them.
Again, all you have to do is have a basic education in history to know that. World War I was basically two empire blocks siding. It was a bunch of alliances that said a bunch of countries saying we're gonna be siding on this country's side, and the other bunch of countries saying we're gonna be siding on this country's side. And Russia was part of that. Okay, very much so.
Americans. We once suffered, but then saved them again. But now they're back, and with the old game, and we have to either to punish them or
He talks about punishment a lot. I'm afraid to know what is in this person's mind. He talks about very, very strict punishment a lot.
help them to change their minds. It is not. I'm not calling for regime change, but if Europeans do not change,
Regime change? What the fuck does that even mean? Europe does not have a single government.
these elites for more national-oriented.
Also, for a country that does not speak of elite regime change, Russia sure meddles in a lot of elections. It's just so.
For more responsible, they are doomed, and I hate that idea because culturally I am a European. Of course, we are moving towards Siberia, we're moving towards East. We are saying and sincerely that we are becoming a Eurasian nation, or returning back to where we belong to become the Eurasian nation.
What the fuck is the Russian nation, quote unquote? I thought it was a multi-ethnic, multinational country.
But the loss of Europe would be a pity.
A pity.
So where do I go from there? What do I do now?
Before I ask you about what you think
No.
Russia should do relative to the rest of the world, become Eurasian rather than European, which it seems to be doing. If there were nuclear
Whatever the hell that means.
strikes from Russia into Europe in the next year or two, as you said, there may be, what countries
Gonna attack Poland.
would that include?
I dare not tell you because that will jeopardize those countries.
Well, we are online, so I have written that
Poland.
several times that
Poland.
we strike Poznan.
Poznan. There you go. Poland. Poznan is a city in Poland. I've been to Poznan. It's a very nice city. I used to work for a person that was from Poznan. There you go. First country that he named, Poland.
Americans would never respond. Americans would never respond anyway.
Not only did he name Poland, he also said, if we attacked Poland, nobody would give a shit. He just said it.
But if we, and I hope the Poles are becoming, by the way, more sensible. They understand that they are playing with fire. They're
The Poles are not becoming more sensible, quote unquote.
trying to retreat from the front lines of this conflict.
What the fuck does that mean? Retreat from the front lines of this conflict. What? How is Poland retreating from the front lines of this conflict? I have no clue what that even means.
But my choice would be Britain and Germany.
So Poland and then Britain and Germany. Thank you.
You'd take out Britain and Germany with nuclear weapons.
I beg our Almighty that wouldn't happen.
This is the rant of a lunatic.
Yes.
But Germany should be the first, because Germany is the source of
Oh, evil.
the worst in the European history. But I hope, again, I have many German friends. I hope that it would happen.
I have many German friends. It would be a pity for me to kill them all.
I think, just came back from Beijing. Certainly, the ties between Russia and China are much, much deeper than they were
Pretty pathetic.
4 years ago. From an American perspective, the idea of a permanent Russia-China alliance is a threat to our future, it would seem. Is that alliance permanent?
Well, for the time being, for the foreseeable future, it is a source of great strength both to Russia and to China, and our Chinese friends understand that. But what will happen in 10
It's more like Russia became a bit of a China's lapdog throughout this conflict. Very, very dependent on China for its economy and war machine. It's not exactly an equal partnership that we are witnessing between China and Russia, but, you know, neither here nor there. Neither here nor there.
15 years, we do not know. So we're planning for all kind of futures. But our best solution is to reach a world where four great powers will be working together.
Divide the world into spheres of influence is what is being said here. Okay? Divide the world into spheres of influence. Divide and conquer.
For defining, the rules of behavior in the future world. These four powers are China, Russia, United States, and India.
Might makes right. Divide the world into little pieces between the big powers. There you go. Throw away international law. Throw away any sort of international rules-based order. The big powers have their own little turfs, and they have domain over it.
That kind of confederation.
Which is, by the way, the world order that Trump is wholesale buying into.
Configuration also means that we will, and we should, and we will, of course, balance the overall preponderance of China vis-a-vis Russia. But at this juncture, China is a fantastic asset. It is not a threat. But just in case, we should create this.
Also, notice how Europe is not part of this. It's the United States, India, Russia, and then China. So my question is, whose turf is Europe a part of in this worldview? Whose turf is Europe a part of? The United States or Russia? Okay, who gets Europe? Write in the chat. In this brave new world, who gets to rule over Europe? It has to be one of the four powers, remember? The United States, Russia, India, or China. Write in the chat. Be active participants of this stream and write to me who you think will get. The USA?
At least four country system.
Maybe. I mean, Russia wants Europe.
Plus, we are building what we call Greater Eurasia. And that is a system of relationship where China will be balanced.
Also press like on the stream. Zinsight has no one. Europe will be an uninhabitable nuclear wasteland.
By major powers within Eurasia, including India, Persia, Turkey, and Russia.
They couldn't even get Ukraine. They can forget about Europe. Well, I don't know. Europe is not as like And ironically, Europe will not be able to defend itself for long. Poland would not be able to defend itself for long against Russia as it is now.
And others.
Also, mind you, if Europe and the United States end up, Europe through its incompetence and Trump through his evil to throw Ukraine under the bus, Russia that has Ukraine has a different war potential than Russia without Ukraine. We need to enter this into our calculus.
But the Chinese, I mean, we talked with them sincerely about necessity to balance them. It is hard for them to solve that.
Catalonia should get
to
it.
understand that it is in their interest to create a balanced system.
You think the EU is incompetent? When it comes to certain things, oh yeah. When it comes to handling the war in Ukraine, oh yeah. Okay. Europe has been very incompetent when it comes to supporting Ukraine in this war, yeah.
Our relationship within Eurasia. But worldwide, United States should be a key player, because without the United States, we will not succeed in dealing with the unbelievable problems we are facing in the coming years.
Translation: the United States is now an ally of Russia, and it needs us in order to break Europe, in order for us to be able to get what we want in Ukraine. Thank you.
Russia jeopardized its soul by leaving the West, given that it's a...
What? I told you. Those questions are just... Like, whenever I hear a Tucker Carlson question, I'm like, what? Has Russia jeopardized its soul? Has Russia...
Orthodox country, its cultural legacy is Western.
No. We are saving our soul.
Russia is already mobilizing Ukrainian citizens from the occupied territories by forcing them to get Russian passports and putting them in the army. There are already Ukrainian people that are fighting against Ukraine. There are already Ukrainian children that have been militarized since 2014 that have been fighting against Ukraine. Russia, it's not an if, it's already happening.
I mean,
it's not exactly a hypothetical. It's already happening.
Of course, some of my compatriots would not agree with me, but let us remind you and me and others that our soul came from the east and from the south. We took Christianity from Palestine, and the Orthodox Church is the true Christianity, because Catholics left at the beginning of the previous millennium. We parted with them, but still, of course, we're Christians. And we're brothers. We are very much an Islamic country, 20% of our population. We also take it from the south. Then we have a strong Buddhist population. We also take it from the southeast.
Also, Russia, I don't know if this is going to be mentioned by the top Putin advisor, but I believe that Russia has the biggest Muslim population in Europe right now.
And Judaism is also here an acknowledged religion. And the political system.
Oh, he did not mention Islam. Interesting.
Which we have
would not fit the narrative.
Built over years.
Would really not fit the narrative of the falling West, that blah blah blah, falling Europe, etc. Because the invasion of the Muslims is a big part of it.
We have inherited from the greatest empire of them all, from Genghis Khan Empire. But of course,
No, he did not mention Islam.
many Russians would disagree with me, but it is simple truth. We are Asian empire with a very strong European cultural influence, which we love and adore, and we would never part. But we are not Asian. We're not European. Thank God.
This is the rambling of a loon.
And we are now starting to acknowledge that, because our European journey has been which Peter the Great started for, because of certain reasons, because we are backward in technology.
I mean, Ukraine is very much European. Then maybe you should leave Ukraine alone, because Ukraine's tradition is tied more to the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth than to Russia. So, and the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth was part of Europe. So, leave us alone.
It's over. It should have been over 150 years ago. It would have saved us from many troubles, including things like world wars, communism, etc. But now we are parting, but hopefully keeping the traits of.
Yeah, I will admit that this Putin advisor has a pretty thick accent. I will admit.
European cultural heritage which we share with you in our hearts and now.
Also, please press that thumbs up, okay, on YouTube. It helps me a lot, apparently. The more thumbs ups you get, the more success you get.
Moments.
What effect, from your perspective, have Western sanctions had on Russia? Do you believe sanctions have hurt Russia or helped it?
Oh, yes. I mean, we invited, I have been calling for a confrontation with the West long before we stopping the expansion of NATO, etc., long before we decided.
Long before we decided what? To invade Ukraine?
Of course, economically wise, they hurt, but strategically wise, political wise, cultural wise, they have been a blessing. We have, with their help, we invited fire, unfriendly fire on our own. We have done away with comprador elites. We have thrown away, without any repressions, the fifth column.
The fifth column?
Back.
Yes, everybody that is, everyone that opposes Russian imperialism is just a Nazi.
Russian culture, Russian soul.
The mysterious Russian soul. Fuck me. Mark DB, most Muslims in Russia come from republics like Tatarstan, Bashkortostan, Chechnya, and Dagestan. They lived there for centuries. It's not the same thing as in Europe. No, actually, it's just, it also has a big immigration thing. Okay? Also, why is it not the same? What, is it a different type of Islam? Is it a different type of Islam if they live here? I'm sorry, but the argument about Islam in Europe is about it being a cultural difference, okay? The culture and everything is different. Also, Poland has had Muslims for centuries as well. What now? Poland also has had Tatars for centuries, and yet Poland still fearmongers about Muslims just the same.
Yeah, we're becoming Russians, and
we are becoming Russians. I have no clue what that means.
The only problem
But have you not been Russians before?
with these sanctions and with this war is that we have to pay
War! I'm impressed. He repeatedly refers to this as a war, not as a special military operation.
for it with the lives of our best men. But other than that, they have been a blessing, and I do not want them to be lifted. Of course, someone should be so.
Even Tucker Carlson laughs at this bullshit. Did he just say that he would not want the sanctions to be lifted?
Relationship and
I misheard. I misheard it. I misheard it. I must have misheard it.
to be
I must have misheard this
a
bullshit.
blessing. And I do not want them to be lifted.
No, he just said that he does not want the sanctions against Russia to be lifted because they're a blessing. What? Like, you look, even Tucker Carlson started laughing at this bullshit.
Other than that, we have to pay for it with the lives of our best men. But other than that, they have been a blessing, and I do not want them.
Okay, I want to hear this whole statement again. Him saying that it's just it's amazing that we've been sanctioned and ostracized. It's a blessing actually, and we don't want it to end. Like that is such bullshit.
We have thrown away without any repercussions the fifth column. We are returning back our Russian culture.
This is such
Russian
cope.
soul.
Our Russian culture is returning.
Russians, and
that is such desperate cope. Oh my god.
the only problem with these sanctions and with this war is that we have to pay for it with the lives of our best men. But other than that, they have been a blessing.
The war and sanctions have been a blessing?
And I do not want them to be lifted. Of course, someone
Okay, see, even Tucker Carlson broke his constipated face after hearing this, okay? Even he was like, oh, okay, sure. Yeah, you don't want the sanctions to end. Let the sanctions continue forever. Oh my god.
should be so.
Even he could not stop himself from laughing at this bullshit.
Relationship and somebody's
Okay, now he's like he's like okay, go, come back, Tucker, come back to your constipated face.
money, but
he could not he could not keep a straight face.
Russia,
I'm getting very BDSM vibes with this man, says Reza. I actually do too, with all the talk about punishment.
which
Severe punishment.
is threatened, is again a war-fighting nation. We are a nation of warriors. And when
There we go. We are strong warriors. We are manly men. We have no gays in the army. We have no transes in the army. We're not degenerates. We are strong Euro-Asian warriors. And we lead the civilization to a better tomorrow. Unlike Europe that is falling. The West is falling and the West is degenerate. And it forgot God. There you go. Also, we are a war-like nation. We are warriors, but somehow it's Europe that wants war. Okay, not us. At the same time.
started to be attacked, even indirectly, now directly, then we turn to our best. And that's why the country is experiencing unbelievable.
We've been attacked and therefore we started a war. Makes sense. As always, makes perfect sense, right? Makes perfect sense.
Releases. The only problem is that we're losing best man, and that should be stopped.
And that leads to my last question, Mr.
You could stop it at any time. You could stop your best men being killed by withdrawing from Ukraine.
Karganov, which is, you've described this as a war, a civilizational war between Russia and Europe. What role does the United States, our administration, our president, play in ending it? What can President Trump do to end the war?
I am still very impressed that he is actually referring to it as a war and not a special military operation.
I mean, Americans were very crucial in starting this war because the whole problem started in early 2000s when American administration started to peddle to prop up the European issue because they were afraid of the possibility of building a continental alliance between Russia and Germany. So, in a way, Americans are also have been the source of the problem. As to the Trump administration offer, I didn't like the offer which Mr. Trump offered because it doesn't solve the real problem. And the real problem is European hostility, European aggression. But for the time being, we should use this opportunity, if possible. And then, of course, we all know that President Trump is curtailed his internal affairs, and also now we see that his offers are diluted and by all kind of efforts from within and by his quote unquote.
Now the video is breaking up, and he already has a very thick accent, and I'm having trouble. The America's bad, Europe's bad. Everybody's at fault for starting this war, apart from Russia. That is what I'm getting from all this. Okay, everybody is at fault except for Russia. That is the takeaway that you should be taken from what he's saying here.
Allies, but we could try.
The West is evil. Russia is good, and Russia is actually very noble and warrior, and it has the spirit of the Eastern Orthodox purity that the West has degenerated from.
For a while with his offer. Maybe eventually we would end up with the solution of the problem. And that is solution of the problem is, of course, as I've said, is Europe.
Of course. Europe is the solution of the problem.
However, I do not foresee that, unfortunately, that possibility. So even if we stop this war, we should be prepared when the war resumes to do away with the source of this.
What do you mean the war resumes? The war has not stopped.
And that is hostility of European elites and their willingness to fuel warfare on the European subcontinent. But let's give Trump a chance, although I'm not sure whether he or we would succeed under circumstances. You know the internal situation in the United States better. And also,
yes. Europe will destroy any chance of the beautiful peace that Trump and Russia are cooking for everybody, of course.
So, by the way, we could not rely with all our respect to your president on him. He has a country behind him which is deeply divided. he has a huge opposition. And then he's also
Yes, Trump has not, translation, Trump is not as big of a dictator like Putin. He has not destroyed the democracy completely yet, so we cannot rely on him 100%. There you go. I translated this nonsensical ramble into coherent speech. He actually has still an opposition that exists, unlike our glorious leader Vladimir Putin that has done away with that bullshit a long time ago. Okay, Trump still has a long, long way to go to be completely reliable. Use ice more.
playing full games. And so I don't think, I hope we could arrange something. But we are watching very carefully.
I hope we can arrange for Ukraine's surrender together.
The fact that presidential administration has abducted the leader of a big country. We are watching very carefully that American Marines are acting like pirates.
Tucker Carlson looks like he just checked out from the conversation and placed like a static picture of himself here. Back to the constipated
high seas,
face.
seizing tankers, wearing Russian flags, Russian banners. If that continues, we'll have to
Punish the United States severely.
go back to rough deterrence. But we would like
We'll have to punish the United
to
States
have,
as we do.
if not cordial, but a good relationship with the United States and with other two great countries in the world. But we'll see whether he could deliver.
We'll see.
I think he wants to deliver, but whether he's able is a big question. So we keep our fingers crossed.
We will see if Donald Trump can deliver us Ukraine on a silver platter. Maybe he can, maybe he doesn't. Maybe we will just try to conquer it on our own.
And let's give us be absolutely sure. We hope that he's sincere, but we do not trust American policies, and to a certain extent, his proposals look like a honey trap. Trap.
Honey trap. Trump speaks as a honey trap. Oh, God. What a dude. Putin's advisor.
Because nothing happens. Continue the war. Not talking about peace. I mean, referring to who knows whom, Zelensky or other pygmies in Europe who are blocking it. And it seems that this war is continuing, and maybe the United States in the end do not want to finish this war. So then we'll have to come back to the solution, which I have mentioned several times.
Nuclear war. The solutions that you have been talking about, the nuclear warfare.
And that is of starting to punish
Punish Europe, punish the United States, punish everybody.
our European enemies with an understanding, hopefully, that the United States would,
We will punish our enemies.
and knowing that they would refrain from participating in a nuclear war in Europe.
I think it's
Fantasizing about nuclear warfare is something else, okay?
important for American policymakers and the American citizenry, the country, to understand the Russian perspective, and I'm grateful that you gave it to us, Mr. Kargonov. Thank you very much.
The shitty Russian perspective that nobody in their right mind should give a fuck about this kind of perspective, okay?
For your time.
Thank you. It was a
Like
pleasure.
nobody should even entertain calling this sort of ramble a perspective. Yeah, they are evil. They are source of all the evil in the world, and we need to punish them. Nuclear war, something. They want war, and so we started an invasion. Just
Thank you for me too.
thank
Thanks
you. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much.